Hey guys, so what I want to do is talk a little bit about uh, just some of the things that I work on and how I got into recording. And it's just going to provide a little bit more information on the possibilities. This is not an assignment. This is just in case you're interested in recording. Um, I'm going to be posting more assignments exclusively in the online digital audio workstation that we did the assignment with. This is just for your education if you're interested. All right, so you're looking at a bunch of stuff right here. This is Studio One. This is what I use to record, and I run a small home studio. Most of you probably don't know that. And I'm just going to open up one of my sessions and kind of talk about some of the stuff. If you are really interested in recording and you're bored at home and are looking for something to get into, it's a long journey. But if you are interested in making your own music, I love talking about it, and that now's the perfect time to. So what I'm going to do is just kind of walk you through my setup. This is something that you don't need, but this is part of my interface. This is a digital interface, and you see this thing moving up and down. It's actually my vocal coming through, and I have two inputs for two microphones. That's why you see this. This one's muted. Don't worry about this stuff right now. So I have a very big session for an artist I'm working with named Lisette, and it takes a while to load up. Even on my computer, I need to buy more RAM, I think. And I just wanted to kind of walk you through some of the stuff I do. So, this is kind of crazy looking. What I'll do is I'll just start at the beginning, and you can kind of listen to it. And let me see here. Boom. Let's get rid of that. All right, here you go. All the hiccups is just my computer not being able to keep up with the session, so.
Black stones between mountains, they crumble and break underneath the pressure of everyone. They can't escape. One day a stranger.
All right, so this is actually some cellos that I recorded using a microphone, just like I talked about in the last assignment. You'll kind of hear it here.
Diamonds, they shadow up above the heavens is everywhere. They call home. If I obey her, will I?
And then let's see here. I'll do the ending for you guys, and then I'll talk some about how I do it. I'll go ahead and walk you through some of the things going on here, and I'll show you some basics. In another video, I'll actually show you, if you have the ability to download software, I'll show you some really good software for free that you can get started with. The online software that we're using for class is, just to get us started. But if you want to go further, this is a video for you to kind of get more information. All right, so I've been doing this for a very long time, so I don't expect you guys to, do do stuff like this. It's kind of crazy to look at first, but I'm just going to walk you through some basic things. The first thing is EQ. You notice these knobs. This shapes the sound by removing and adding frequencies. So let's find a good example. So if I'll go to one of my cellos, let's say I'll solo a cello. Oops, don't want to do that. Solo a cello. And you'll notice I'm actually not even using that same EQ. I'm using this EQ. And what I've done is I've removed some of the lower frequencies because it sounds muddy, and I really haven't added a whole lot to it. Don't worry about that stuff right now. I'm just going to give you an overview. If I play around with it, you'll hear a difference. So this high-pass filter will actually make the sound more tinny sounding. It takes away the low end. So like all this down here sounds low. It's all the low end, right? And up here it's all high, right? So continue to move it around. And that's the first thing. And then you can take each frequency and either remove or add. That's how an EQ works. The next thing, I'll show you a compressor. Let's see. Here's my favorite compressor. It's an 1176. Don't expect you to get your hands on something like this at first, but just know that a compressor simply takes the sound and makes it more punchy. So let's see. Let's get rid of this and go to her vocal. Let's see here. Oops, not her vocal. Here's her vocal. Oh, this is my friend Lisette, by the way.
Diamonds, they shadow.
So I can change the input and it'll actually make it squashed and make it sound worse.
Diamonds, they shadow in the dark, alone. Up above.
See, it actually raised the noise. So if you go too far, you'll actually end up messing it up. But EQ and compression are the first two things to look into. You guys are really smart, and you can Google this stuff if you're really interested. Let me see. Really, the way a DAW works is you have those plugins I talked about, an EQ and a compressor, and there's all kinds of other stuff you can do that shapes the sound once you've actually recorded. So these are waveforms of recorded sounds from microphones. You see the waveform. Let's see. And these are MIDI sounds. So just like in the software, you would have seen these, what we call MIDI notes. So I played on a keyboard and got these. This is a sound of some, I think these are French horns. And I played on a keyboard and made these, but you can go crazy, move them around. But then after I do that, I can actually come here, and I actually really didn't even mix anything because they kind of sound good out of the box. But yeah, so this is a session that you would see once you get into a studio that, you know, does production. Production is where you create the song and then you record it. Mixing is where you send this session and have someone else use things like compression and EQ to shape the sound, and that's how all of your favorite artists record their songs. So where you're starting at right now with the online software, you can end up somewhere like this after a couple years of looking into it and experimenting and just having fun. I mean, the whole point of this is to have fun. I show you this not to freak you out or anything, but to show you where things kind of end up. If you do this for a long time, obviously you might not be into this kind of music, but every artist has their own sound. But if you get into recording, you can possibly give other people the opportunity to come record with you, and by collaborating, you usually make better sounds and just have fun. So this is just a brief kind of thing I just wanted to show you. It's called Slow Burn, and it's on Lisette's upcoming EP coming out pretty soon. And again, the software I use is called Studio One. And there's all kinds of other software out there. In fact, let's look up some software. So here's my favorite software for getting started. It's free, especially if you run on a Windows computer. It's called Reaper. And it is completely free. It'll ask you to pay for it when you log in each time, but you can just click away from the box and you can literally use this thing for free. And it pretty much has all the things that I do on Studio One. The only reason I'm not using Reaper is because I run on Mac and it doesn't play very nicely with Mac. Most of you guys probably have PCs just like I kind of wish I had. But Reaper will work great for you, and you can play around and look on YouTube and kind of learn if you don't want to use the online thing. But for our classwork, we'll continue to use the online recorder. I just want to give you guys the information in case you have some extra time at home and you want to play around. I know maybe a couple of you might be really interested in this. Let's see. If you did want to buy it, it's like $30. I'm sure your parent might buy it for you. Of course, half of you probably have that money anyways. Other recording software, you have FL Studio. A lot of beat makers. I think one of the guys who creates beats for Drake, he uses FL Studio. Audacity is another one. We use this a lot in college. It is not my favorite because it looks like it came straight out of the 90s. It just doesn't look very nice to me. But hey, this is actually completely free and it won't ask you to pay for it. It's just really complicated. So if you want to get into it, if you want to do more than the online workstation, you can download, I would recommend Reaper. If you do have a Mac, you already have free software called GarageBand, and you can play around with GarageBand. If you have an iPad or an iPhone, you already have access to GarageBand. Like a lot of you have iPhones already. So if you want to play on GarageBand on your phone, I'll show you what it looks like on an iOS device. This is all your MIDI, and you can just touch these and make your own beats and make your own songs. Hopefully a few of you have already kind of looked at this. But if you were to do like recording your vocals or your guitar or something, to play guitar or hopefully your instrument, you can actually see these waveforms. And it's very similar to my session, right? So we all start somewhere. Anyways, I hope that this is interesting to you. If you have questions about this stuff, I love geeking out and talking about this. So you can just email me and I'll talk to you about it. So yeah, we will continue with the regular online stuff for right now. But this was just for those of you who were interested. All right, guys. Hope you're all safe, and I will talk to you later. Bye.